I'm Edward Pritchett with Life Insurance Today, and right now, in front of you, you have Sieun Kim. Guys, here's the thing. On track to be a doctor, decided he was going to step out on faith and kind of against the parents' wishes just a touch and do something to make the income that he wanted to make. Tried a couple things, came across insurance, and best month so far, personal production, over $75,000 in income. He has now built a passive income from his business of over $60,000 a month. If you want to know how you can do this, both on the active side and the passive side, stay tuned. All right, Sieun, man, thank you for taking the time. We don't get to see each other that often. I mean, you're
Yeah.
on the West Coast, I'm in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So it's cool to be able to face to face and get a chance to hang out and get to know each other a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
I've been so inspired by your story, your evolution in this industry. To come in with the talent, the smarts, the skills that you have, and not only definitively win, but to create a path for so many others. Like you have a massively growing organization right now. You're sharing it with others. Like you came in as a personal producer. Like I remember seeing your name on some leaderboard. I'm like, what is he doing out there? Like, I mean, just week after week after week after week, month after month. That's why you've been able to generate like over $80,000 in personal income, helping families in the way that only this industry can do. But now, seeing what you're doing with your agency, and you've been in life insurance for, is it 7 years now?
Yeah. 2017 I started, so it's
Started
been a
in
little over 7.
2017. Okay. Started in 2017, a little over 7 years. Um, I really want to explore because you were on track to be a doctor.
Yeah, I was in pre-med.
You
Yeah.
you were pre-med, and let's talk about that a little bit. Like
Uh,
because I think that's where some of the initial sales training that you got
mm,
happened in like you were pre-med, senior year. You decided I need to make some income, and you found something that allowed you to do that, and
yeah.
you decided this pre-med thing, those doctors, like I'm making what they're making right now, and I don't have to spend 4 years in med school, 4 years in residency, and
Mm,
still be miserable for the rest of my life. What talk to us a little bit about that. You're 33 now, so
mm,
let's rewind back. What's that? 13 years, 14 years. What
yeah.
was going on then? What were you thinking? What did you get into right after
Yeah, and I
college?
mean, so I was raised in a family of doctors, so
Okay.
you have an expectation of what you need to be doing. And I love medicine. I had an opportunity to serve the poorest parts of Nicaragua and Costa Rica for 2 months in college,
Okay.
and it was a great experience. But I wanted to make a bigger impact and also make more money early on, so I can give back to the things that I believe in, and
Okay.
also have a good, life for my family.
So it was that you were kind of looking at the trajectory, like,
Mm,
okay, yes, I could go into medicine, but like, I'm not gonna be able to earn. I'm not gonna be able to do the things I want to do for my family or give back in the way that I want to give because of some of the experiences that you had had
yes.
for a while,
Yeah.
right? So what did you do? You were in. I think you were telling me you were like in your senior year, or maybe it
Mhm.
was like between junior and senior summer,
Yeah,
something like
so it
that.
was senior year. Now it was summer, and a lot of college students are broke, right? So I'm trying to just make some money. So my friend tells me, "Hey, you should go on Craigslist to find a job." And I was like, I didn't know what Craigslist
Oh,
was.
Craigslist.
Yeah, I was like,
Be
"What is
careful what jobs you're looking
Craigslist?"
for, but I mean, yes, they're
Yeah,
still
yeah.
there. There's still some there.
Yeah, yeah. So I went on the website, and one ad said that it's a sales opportunity, and it didn't say what it was, but I ended up going to it, and it ended up being timeshare.
Okay.
I don't even know what timeshare was at that time. I'm
Okay.
from Korea, and we don't really have timeshares over there. So, but they said that you send families on vacation and you get paid. I was like, hello, let's do it, right? So that's how I got
It
into it.
makes sense
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
front end.
yeah, yeah. It did, it did. And then what happened was I made a really good living. Actually, I made my first $10,000 in my first month, which was my income I made in college senior year doing 6 months of it was a neuroscience lab. I was a manager. I was injecting rats in the morning before classes and after classes, getting peed on by rats, right? And I was making seven
So
dollars an hour.
$10,000 for
Yeah,
6 months worth
yeah,
of rat pee
yeah,
versus 10,000 a month. Fred basically fresh
yeah,
out of college, and you feel like you're helping send families on vacation.
yeah,
Yeah, I can see that. That's pretty like
yeah.
found it. Like let's
Exactly.
go.
Yeah,
All right. So what happened next? I mean, you worked in the timeshare
yeah.
industry for 2 years.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
made good income. What was the most income
I
that you made?
mean, I made over 200K, yeah, on my second year.
Okay.
And I mean, I was probably like 23 years old, so
So
yeah.
you're a more responsible person than I think I probably was at that age. But
Yeah.
$200,000 as a 23-year-old,
Hmm.
you were enjoying life.
Yeah, I made some, mistakes of buying like a sports car.
As you
I
should.
did my things
As
as
you
a,
should.
young
But
guy.
something was gnawing at you,
Mhm.
right? Like there was something that it just did something didn't the same story that was told when you
Mm,
first got there wasn't resonating at that point in time. What caused
yeah.
your shift? Because that's when you
Mm.
shifted from timeshare sales to insurance. What caused that? What was going on?
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing. So I actually met my now wife Amanda in timeshare.
Okay.
She came in for like a kind of open house, and what we thought was just there was a lot of kind of like bad things that people talked about timeshare, and I was fine just making my money, but then managers are saying that, oh, if you bend the truth a little bit, then you might be able to make 300, 400, and there's guys who are making $1 million a year, but I can't sleep at night if I'm gonna do that. So I
Yeah.
felt uncomfortable with that type of work anymore.
Well,
So
the tactic side
yes,
of
the
there.
tactic side, yeah,
And I think that's one of those things where I mean that can happen in insurance too, right?
absolutely, yes.
Where and if it's just the pursuit of money, and it's one of the reasons that I don't have anybody on this show that doesn't talk
Mm,
about the value that we add to clients first. The,
absolutely,
the more value you add to clients, like you're gonna make the income, the
of
commission is
course.
gonna come. So you had that situation happen, you start to get that sense, and so you start to look for something different.
Yeah, actually, at that point, Ed, my wife and I now wife, but back then she was a girlfriend, and we were kind of praying about it because we didn't know where to go from here. Only thing I knew was pre-med and timeshare.
Okay.
So we didn't know where to go, but we happened to win a contest through timeshare and win a trip to Las Vegas.
Okay.
So that was our first time there. And there was a couple of friends that were living out there, so we kind of explored it. And I mean, I went to school at William and Mary, which is like in Williamsburg. Average age is like 80 years old there. It's like everything closed down by 8 p.m.
Yeah.
And we went to Vegas, and so much
A
diversity.
little bit different.
Yeah, every
A little bit different
color.
than Williamsburg,
Yeah,
Virginia. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's
It's a
quite
little
opposite,
different.
right?
Yeah.
So we were like, you know what? We want to be more surrounded with diversity and also opportunity to grow because it was a big growing city.
Mhm.
So we decided to move to Vegas, and people thought we were crazy, Ed. I mean, between me and Amanda, we're making 250 plus $1,000. And imagine quitting that in your 20s. People are like, what's wrong with you?
So I mean, like you quit before you found insurance, before you.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
so you had made a decision, and
Hmm.
this is what I when I see people who are successful
Hmm.
in this industry or otherwise, they're very decisive
Hmm.
whenever they're gonna make a decision, right? And I know
Yeah.
that sounds like double-sided when
Hmm.
I'm saying it, decisive when they make a decision. Some people want to make a decision, but they're not decisive about it. They don't really make a decision. They're always kind of that
Yeah.
straddling two fences or like serving two mat, however you want to talk about it,
Hmm.
right? And so they never see results. But you said, we're not going to keep doing that
Hmm.
anymore. We want something different. You go to Las Vegas and
Yeah, so at that point, I wanted to get into like, commercial real estate.
okay.
I wanted to become an investor. And I know you're a big investor. So that's kind of what I wanted to go into. But it ended up being an elaborate scam. So we lost collectively over $1.3 million with other investors. So that's where my over $100,000 went into
So
at
you
that
went out
time.
to Vegas and
Hmm.
you're like, we're gonna. we're gonna take what we built up a little nest egg, and we're
Mhm.
gonna invest in commercial real estate, and that's gonna be our ticket. And
Yeah.
what you invested in turned it out not to be sound.
Yeah.
It was somebody was scamming you.
Yeah.
Money's gone, and now you and Amanda, you're there in Vegas, and
I
I'm
mean,
sure it's a low point. I mean, I think a lot of
yeah.
people have been, or maybe they're at.
Mhm.
They're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do next.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I felt that the world was crashing down on me because I mean, I was also younger at that time
Yeah.
without much
You
experience.
you, you would have been what,
I was
24,
24.
25?
Yeah, yeah. I was
24?
turning, yeah, I think I was 25 at that time.
Okay.
It was my first big investment and it
Mm.
happened to be a scam. So I thought the world was ending at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, looking back, it's different now because I found this opportunity. But yeah, it was just a really devastating situation. So I just went back to the only place I know how to find a job, and it was Craigslist.
Craigslist. It worked once.
Yeah, yeah. And I was actually searching for jobs on the sales section, but a lot of it was like, call center jobs or handing out flyers on the strip.
Mhm.
And, once you make like a couple $100,000, you can't really go back to the minimum wage.
No.
So I was scrolling through the different pages, and one ad stood out. It said, if you like sales and if you like helping families, call this number.
Okay.
But it doesn't say about life insurance or
Just say
insurance at
life
all.
insurance. Just say
Yeah, yeah,
just call this number if you
yeah,
like helping families and you're okay at sales or good at sales.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And when I called, it happened to be Symmetry at the time. Now, the biggest thing was the gentleman who actually posted the ad, he's now passed away of kidney failure. But when I heard that we are helping families to protect their mortgage and protect their assets, I was like, wow, this is something I think I can really believe in doing. And now they told me I have to get a license, and I'm like, man, I have like $500.
Where's the money for this license gonna come
Yeah,
from?
yeah, I was out, but something felt right.
Hmm.
But I know I was such in a tough position that I had to just jump all in
You had
to
to,
that opportunity. Yeah.
and someone who I really love his content, love what he's doing. I've been on his podcast, John
Mhm,
Wetmore. He says this phrase of uh, "do more now, get
mhm,
better later." And you're someone who, when I think of that phrase,
mhm,
like that's why I was seeing your name so
mhm.
early and so often, because you came in and you said, "Hey, I have some sales experience, but I'm just gonna listen to what these folks say. I'm gonna get, you probably started with some aged leads, right?
Oh
To,
yeah,
to get started
for
because you didn't
sure.
have the money to get brand fresh new leads off the printing press,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you just went to work.
I did.
And so what does that look like? In the last little portion here,
Mhm,
you were at that low.
mhm,
You said, you know what? I'm either gonna get up and go or
mhm,
I'm dead. Like
mhm.
that wasn't like that those were kind of the options. And let's say this. People may say, well, that's a bit dramatic. Like he could
Mm.
call his parents and go, like, yes, there are a lot of other things that you can do,
Yeah,
but like sometimes you have to put yourself as like, if it's going to be, it's up to me.
yeah.
Like I am the one, like I am gonna be the man or the woman and make this decision
Mm,
and change the path and the trajectory I'm on. So you got your license, you got contracted with an
mhm.
independent organization, and what did you start doing? What were the activity steps? What are the action steps that they can
Yeah.
go and do now that led to? I mean, your do you remember back? I mean, it's been 7 years.
Yeah, yeah.
First month in the industry, how
Mhm.
much premium did you write in your first
So
month?
full months, I did 15,000
15,000.
annual premium. Mhm,
And which is solid.
mhm.
You're not like, I mean, there's plenty of people who are like killing it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but 15,000. Fast forward 6 months in, how much did you do
I was
approximately?
doing about 40,000 every month.
About
Yeah.
40,000 a month,
Uh,
and that's where I real like
mhm,
15,000. That's what someone should do when they're getting started.
mhm,
But like what really introduced you to me was this guy out in Vegas who month after month after month, and he's new to the industry.
mhm.
He's 25, 26 years old,
Yeah.
and he's just writing 40,000, 40,000, 40,000. What is he doing? So, what are the activities that led to that 6-month growth period where you went from 15,000 a month to where, I mean, you could probably go out right now and write 40,000 and not have to think
Yeah,
about it too much.
yeah. I mean, it was all activity, Ed. I mean, I had no money, so I bought the cheapest leads possible at the time. It was like 99 cents per lead. I think you remember those, right? And I started just dialing, but I was just so terrible at it. I made 1,000 dials before I actually made my first appointment.
You 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 get. I hope you made $1,000. Like you had
Yeah,
been in sales.
yeah,
Because in the timeshare, like the people kind of come to you. Like there's
yeah. I never had
there's
to pick up the
you
phone
never
to,
had to pick
yeah,
up the phone. So this was something new. So you knew
mm,
how to sell, but
mm,
not this aspect of
correct.
booking an appointment. You made $1,000 before you booked your first appointment,
Hmm.
but you were in that situation of like you had to do this.
That
So
was it.
so
Yeah.
so activity. And it's one of those things, and here's the thing, like we don't have to dive that deep
Hmm.
into what it's about. If you had a mentor, you
Hmm.
had someone that was guiding you, and they said, "Here's the activity that you need to do." They probably gave. Did they say make $1,000?
No,
No.
actually, there's not many people out there in Vegas at that time. So I was really getting mentored by Kai and Lisa Kimbrell,
Okay.
and I had a video that I can keep watching, and it was Tony, and I just watched a 5 minute video selling. That's the only thing I had, and I just went for it. I didn't even know what carriers I was contracted with or nothing, and I had
But
to
but
write a paper policy at
but
that time.
it
Yeah.
was it was that you took something simple and
Hmm.
straightforward, and you just did it over and over and until it didn't take you 1,000 to book one. It
Hmm.
took much fewer,
Oh yeah,
and then you got to
yeah.
the point like by the time you were 6 months in and you were writing
Mm.
40,000 a month. How many dials were you typically making back then on a
I mean,
full like week of
at that point, I was getting a consistent about 30,000 in income. So what I did was I invested into about 30 A leads, which is like the brand new mortgage
brand new
protection
leads?
leads, which are fresh. So I my dialing time went down probably 1/10 of what I was doing before, but I was booking way more than before,
Yeah.
and I was setting
And you're
about,
probably
yeah.
and you're getting better,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
every time that
yeah.
you're doing an iteration, you're getting better and
Mm,
better. And so, what I think a lot of people, and this is where I want to keep this fairly straightforward and simple, is you just haven't done the activity. They've done 10, 20, 50
oh,
dials,
no.
and they struggled, they
Mm,
sucked at it, but then that's where they stopped. It's like you have to have the grit. You have to kind of put yourself between that rock and the hard place and say,
mhm,
if it's gonna be, it's up to me,
mhm.
as you did. And if it takes me $1,000, like I just told Amanda that we're gonna spend this money and I'm gonna get my license and I'm gonna do this, I better freaking do it. Like I gotta figure something out.
Yeah.
Um, and that's one of the keys that I see in high achievers.
Mhm.
This is a business of activity. We've had guests on to say, yes, you want to do activity, but we want to work smart too, right? Initially, you may just have to work hard, maybe dumb as
Yeah,
a
because
brick.
you don't know what
You
smart
don't
is.
you don't know what
You don't know what
smart
smart
is,
is.
but then that's where over time, even if it's just a 5-minute video, but
Yeah.
finding that mentor, and then over time you were able to develop those relationships where you were able to build and get better at your craft. But one thing I've seen in you is like it's just that consistent activity.
Mhm.
Consistent activity. If you have to add, is Sean work? No, Sean's working. Like you don't have to,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
during those
for sure.
times, like
Mm.
you have this is my time, my committed time for symmetry, where I'm gonna let me pause there. My committed time for my business,
Mhm.
and this is how I'm going to make sure that it gets done by
Yeah,
doing the activity over and over until I get it right,
absolutely.
as I
Yeah.
get better. So, as our audience is thinking about what they can do next,
Mhm.
what would be your one piece of advice that they can leave having watched this
Mhm.
and say, this is what they can go do to start that process of getting better at their craft?
Yeah, my biggest thing would be is like you said, obviously working smarter will be great, but when you're in such a tough financial position, there's no working smart. Like you're just do or die, and I'm gonna work my butt off at that time. And I realized that just going through the over and over the motion, I think you just get better. You get really, really good at what you do,
Mhm.
and then you become unstoppable. And I think that's really what a lot of people give up before that miracle happens, right before, So I would just say keep going and do not quit because you might be right there, right around the corner. There is a big success waiting for you.
All right. You heard it right here. Sean, is there any place if they want to follow you, get in contact with you, anything that you want to share? We can, of course, we'll drop some links there in the show notes. But
Yeah, I have to be better at that. I don't do a lot of social media. Yeah, I do have a Facebook account, Instagram, but I'm not really actively on there. Yeah.
so you've been able to do everything you've done without that. So now, like as you get to share more of that, I can't wait to see how you use that to leverage and build your organization. But we do have, I believe, if you look right below here, you'll see some Facebook and Instagram for Sean. But I would certainly follow this man just so that I can understand a little bit more about his mindset, what he's doing, how he's doing it, and hey, I'm sure you'll accept a DM.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime.
If you have any questions, reach out to him. I definitely appreciate you being on and just sharing your journey, sharing the story, getting to that point of it's just activity. Just do the activity. Guys, this is Edward Pritchett with Life Insurance Today. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you here next time.